Oh, we got Tommy Moffitt in here. Let's go. Let's bring in my favorite coach that I've ever played for. Look at that man right there. The man who once told me, T-Bob, your ass is so wide I can spell Mississippi across the back. Man who helped me grow, push me mentally and physically to heights I did not know I could reach. Coach, what's up, you sumbitch? What's going on, man?
I'm doing good, T-Bob. Do we have audio? Everything is good?
Yes, everything is good. So, okay, for those that don't know, I'll give you a brief resume here. Well, he's been all over back in the day, but he arrived at LSU with Nick Saban back in 2000. And if you're wondering why LSU had a 20-plus year golden era, it is because this man right here, he was the X factor. What's the common denominator between Nick Saban, Ed Orgeron, and Les Miles all winning natties? The multi-time strength coach of the year. Okay, this is a man who you spend more time with than that's what people don't realize. You don't spend time with your position coaches. You don't spend time with your head coaches. This motherfucker is the one who's in your ass every single day trying to get you right. And even though it hurts my soul in some ways, it's my favorite coach I ever played for. I'm so happy for him. Mike Elko's now hired him to go to Texas A&M. Coach, I saw you at the grocery store the other day. You look great. How hungry are you to get back in the game, bro?
I'm so fired up. I can't stand it. I mean, I was tired of sitting on the sidelines, man. Just tired of just watching college football and not being a part of it. I'm so jacked. I mean, I'm so jacked. I can't stand it. I can't. It's I don't even have words. I can't put words.
If you want to cuss out T-Bob to kind of get the juices flowing again, like he's a great punching bag. He's a great punching bag. So, you just want to let those juices flow.
Yeah. Well, so I was talking to someone last night about this, and it was Jacob. It was Jacob Hester.
Okay.
And when my feet hit the ground, I'm going on autopilot. I will go black out, and it's natural. It's as much a part of me as the color of my hair. I'll go black out, and it will be on autopilot from day one.
Now here's sorry, Aaron, real quick, because here's the thing. I don't want because look, yes, coach does all the classes straight coach thing. He's a madman. He's loud. He's aggressive. But I've always described coach as a warrior monk, right? Like a warrior scholar. It's not just meathead dumb, run them till they puke dumbness. No. There's an intelligence, there's a plan. While you've been out of it for a couple of years, coach, have you stayed researching, stayed ahead of the curve and stayed up with like the latest technology?
Yes, I never got out of it. I took a month off. I hunted, drank a little bourbon, worked out. But then I got back into it, and that was part of my podcast. That was part of the purpose of my podcast. I've recorded about 55 podcasts in the last year. All 55 of those really were for me. They were opportunities for me to talk to the people that I love and respect in this industry. I took notes through every one of them. I'm releasing, I have one that I think releases next week. I've seen like 5 times. It's just packed full of information. I had login credentials to some of my colleagues that are coaching right now. That I could get in the back door of their platforms and look at what they were doing on a daily basis. So I never got out. I've worked diligently every day because I hoped that that this day would come. And I was so confident. I sat down with Coach Elko for about 3 hours on Monday and interviewed with him. And it was actually a PowerPoint that I started working on the month after I quit hunting. And so I've probably spoke, I think, a total of 16 times in front of groups. And then I've consulted with, SEC schools, ACC schools, Big 12 or Pac 12, whatever those schools were called then, and what I don't know. And so I have a PowerPoint that's got probably 100 slides on it. And so, I would, depending on what the scenario was, I would hide or unhide slides. So I took that's my PowerPoint, my presentation was Coach Elko, was something that I've been through 30, 40 times in the last 2 years. So I was comfortable, confident, well prepared for the interview. And, it's typical me, man. Just go in there, be over prepared and ready to go. So yeah, I'm fired up, man.
The amount of times prior preparation prevents poor performance is drilled into my head. The 5 Ps.
And that's why you've done so good. Yes, sir.
I don't know. You have a question about T. Getting back into the game, there's very few places with all the bells and whistles that Texas A&M has. Like they have everything you want facility wise. Like what shocked you? What more is there left that you would personally want? Like how good truly are those facilities from your standpoint of like what do you need to get those young men right?
Yeah, so their indoor is 160 yards. So T-Bob, just imagine me having 160-yard indoor.
No, dude.
So it's 160 yards long. The indoor, you could land a plane in the indoor. So I toured the facilities. There are some technological pieces that we're going to actually do a little upgrade in some of the areas with technology. That they currently don't have. So on the docket, day one, Saturday, I'm sure we're going to have a staff meeting. Saturday the 30th is our first work day. I'm sure we're going to meet with Coach Elko and go through our the rules of engagement and our marching orders. I'm sure that will happen. And then I will meet with my staff. We're going to go through our everything that we've got planned for the next 2 weeks. And then the next thing we're going to do is go through the weight room. We're going to, reorganize the weight room, make sure it's fitting for us. And then we're going to crawl through every closet that I can find on campus for gear, making sure, we got to inventory everything. And then before the day is over that day, we're going to start placing orders for everything that we need. That is different. There's different philosophies and different needs for everyone. And then on Tuesday, we're going to start programming. Now I have a couple of people in place already. They haven't been hired, but we've been working on this since the first day I talked to Coach Elko. And so programming wise, we're way ahead of the curve. And we'll start programming on Sunday. We're going to knock all of that out for an entire week. And then the following week, our staff will go through every aspect. Guys always call it Moffitt 1-on-1, but it's our, our in-service training for our staff, our interns, and everyone, so that when the players come that first day, we're ready to roll. So, technology-wise, they have a lot. They have a doctor in the health and exercise science department, Dr. Brian Mann, who is one of the best there is in the industry, and Bo Sandoval. So they've got a great department. We're fired up about it.
Coach, how about this? Texas A&M. You've seen them from afar, and Texas A&M is odd because they do have everything. They even have the players. The only thing they don't have and hasn't had are the wins. You resuscitated an LSU program 20 years ago. What is the first step? If I'm an A&M fan and I'm like, what's the first step to getting Texas A&M where they want to be?
Yeah, all right. Great question. Number one, I have to calculate an attitude that I want our team to have. I have to have that attitude first. I'm going to be the person that spends the first, 4 to 6 weeks with them more than anyone. So I've got to have the attitude that I want the Texas A&M Aggies to have, and me and my staff have to do that every day. So culture is number one. Developing a culture of hard work, toughness, work ethic, doing things, esprit de corps, doing things as a team, making sure that everyone's pulling on the rope in the same direction before we get into the X's and O's. The weight room is an extension of the field, and before they're ready for the coaches, we've got to make sure that we lay down that framework.
Aaron, you're muted.
Coach, I want to ask just the difference in, obviously the players will be different from LSU, especially Louisiana kids to Texas kids. Everyone's personality is different.
Yeah.
But how have you seen or learned how to deal with kids that are making money now? Like, it's one thing to yell at T-Bob who ain't making jack shit. You can scream and yell and cuss him all you want.
What? Yeah. I thought T-Bob was on salary while he was here.
Hey, I got one handshake with a $20 bill in it one time after a game.
Ooh,
but it was one of my friends. It was one of my friends' dads. But it wasn't even a random.
Coach, do you treat guys differently in today's game because of the portal, because of the NIL? Like, is there a way you have to finesse a little bit more as a strength coach?
Well, I mean, I disagree because that was, like T-Bob said in the introduction, I mean, that's not who I am. I mean, everybody wants to win. I've been to NFL practices. I know coaches that have coached in the NFL. There's a certain way that you talk to people and how you treat people. And the important thing is that you don't do things to people, you do things for people. And it's a learning process. Society has changed. Our DNA hasn't evolved to the point where we don't listen, we don't see, we don't pay attention to what leaders say or do. I'm a leader and I'm a mentor, and people, they're not going to look at what's on the outside of me. They're going to look at what's on the inside of me, and they're going to remember how I treated them. And T-Bob, he'll tell you the stories about me breaking out and Margaret Thatcher quotes, and it's a learning process, man. And honestly, the strength that I developed, it lasts a lifetime. The barbells, the dumbbells, the sprints, that's the vehicle. Developing character and a winning attitude, that comes from, there's more to it than yelling and screaming at people and browbeating people. The key is that there's a learning process. There's a long-term mental and physical adaptation that carries over onto Saturday and the playing field. And so I'm not going to change who or how I am, because I mean, when I went to the 2003 national championship reunion, there were guys, they'd come up and they would hug me, and then I would apologize, and they would all say, "Coach, I love you, man. I wouldn't be here if it were not for you." And they went on and on and on. And these, like, I'll tell a quick story. Joseph Adai, Joseph trained for me while he was a player. And then Joe must have spent his first 5 years in the NFL training with us. And he came to me after 4 or 5 years in the NFL in late July or right before training camp and says, "Coach, do you think it would be okay if I took a couple of days off? My wife wants me to take her and the family on a vacation." I said, "Joe, you're a professional. Yes, you can go on a vacation, Joe." And Joe and I laughed and talked about that. It's an attitude. And we're going to create an atmosphere that those players want to be a part of. And it's part of a growth mindset. And whether they're making $5,000 a month or $50,000 a month, I'm not going to treat them any different than I would have treated anybody a long time ago, because it's about winning, and it's about developing relationships, and it's about teaching and putting people in position to be more successful from having been a part of our program. And so that's part of it.
And look, I would say, Coach, that to me, the ultimate kind of proof of that is that, even during maybe some of like the Les Miles down years when LSU wasn't winning to the talent level on Saturday, and even when they weren't having the number one recruiting class, I always say this, but like, why was LSU putting the most players out of anybody in the NFL? Right? The development that this man gives you is unparalleled.
Right.
I fucking hate that you are going to be in College Station now in those colors. I'm very happy for you. And what I hate more than anything, I have really enjoyed making fun of Texas A&M for being soft. And I can
not anymore,
T-Bob.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
If there's one thing that A&M will not be, we'll see where the wins and losses shake out. But this team ain't going to be soft.
No,
I can guarantee that.
We're bringing hell with us, T-Bob.
Hey, well, Coach, thank you so much, man. I know life's crazy right now. Congratulations
thank you,
again,
T-Bob.
Thank you for joining us.
All right, I appreciate it.
Man.
Thank you. All right, y'all have a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Later. The legend, Coach Tommy Moffitt.
Dude, nothing better than some freaking strength coaches that have been through it for a long time. Like those
I
dudes
got goosebumps,
do not mess around.